আজকে আমরা একটি বিখ্যাত নাটক ম্যাকবেথ এটা থেকে এমসিকিউ গুলি আলোচনা করব। এই প্র্যাকটিসগুলি বিশেষ করে ক্লাস 11 এর প্রথম সেমিস্টারে যারা আছো তাদের জন্যই। তাহলে চলো একটা একটা করে দেখা যাক। আমি শুধুমাত্র যেটি সঠিক উত্তর সেটিতেই টিক দেব, কারণ প্রত্যেকটা পড়লে এবং টিক দিতে গেলে অনেক সময় লেগে যাবে। তোমরা নিজেদেরকে পরীক্ষা করার জন্য ভিডিওটাকে পজ করে আগে নিজেরা উত্তরটাকে অনুমান করে নাও, তারপরে দেখো ঠিক হচ্ছে কিনা, তাহলেই ভেবে নেবে তোমাদের পড়া হয়েছে কি হয়নি। ঠিক আছে, একে একে দেখো। 1 নম্বরে, উইলিয়াম শেক্সপিয়ার্স ম্যাকবেথ ইজ আ কমেডি, নভেল, ট্র্যাজেডি অর ট্র্যাজিকমেডি? অবশ্যই এটা ট্র্যাজেডি। তারপর, ডানকান ওয়াজ দ্য কিং অফ স্কটল্যান্ড। সরি, 2 নম্বর। 3 নম্বর, there lived a brave general. Here the word general refers to Macbeth. 4 number, when Duncan was the king of Scotland, Macbeth was held in great esteem for his great valor and skills in war. 5 number, who was a close relative of King Duncan? Macbeth. 6, at the beginning Macbeth was the thane of Glamis. তারপর, Macbeth defeated a rebel army assisted by the troops of Norway. After defeating a rebel army, Macbeth emerged as Valor's minion, Bellona's bridegroom. দুটোই হবে, ওই জন্য অপশন সি, both A and B. The two Scottish generals were Banquo and Macbeth. তারপরটা দেখো, when Macbeth and Banquo were returning from the great battle, there was lightning and thunder. Macbeth met the witches first, or Macbeth and Banquo met the 3 witches when they were on his way home from the battlefield. তারপর একটা 12, when Macbeth came across the 3 witches, he was accompanied by Banquo. The witches looked like unearthly creatures. The weird sisters had beard, withered skin, worn wild dresses, all of these. When the witches met Macbeth and Banquo, they were preparing their food, dancing, singing, or both B and C. এটা হবে both B and C. Solo, the 3 unearthly creatures that met with Macbeth and Banquo were singing, fear is fall and fall is fear. 17, Macbeth was saluted as the thane of Glamis by the first witch. তারপরে, the first of the 3 witches saluted Macbeth with the title of thane of Glamis. 19, the second witch addressed Macbeth as the thane of Cawdor. 20, the third witch predicted that Macbeth would be the king of Scotland. 21, the third witch told him, you will be the king of Scotland hereafter. Here you refers to Macbeth. 22, the witches spoke to Banquo in riddling terms. 23, lesser than Macbeth and greater. The man who was talked about is Banco. 24 The three witches prophesied that Banco would not become the king of Scotland, but his successors would be the kings. 8 25 দেখো, after meeting Macbeth and Banco, the witches vanished by turning into thin air. 26 As the witches vanished, there arrived envoys from the king, Ross and Angus. 27 By the rule of the inheritance, Macbeth was the Thane of Scotland. Macbeth was influenced by the prophecies of the three witches. 29 Hopes began to swell in Macbeth's heart regarding the third prophecy of the witches after Macbeth met the king's envoys. 30 What did Banco consider the witches to be? Ministers of darkness, negative energy, betrayers, both A and B. এটা হবে both A and B, both A and C. 31 Macbeth informed Lady Macbeth about the witch's prediction and its partial accomplishment. Lady Macbeth was an extremely ambitious woman. The idea of killing Duncan originated in the mind of Lady Macbeth. Duncan visited Macbeth's castle. Duncan came to the castle of Macbeth with his sons, thanes, and attendants. Malcolm and Donalbain were the sons of Duncan. King Duncan, attended and accompanied by his sons and many thanes, came to Macbeth's castle to confer honor upon Macbeth for his victory in war. The name of Macbeth's castle was Inverness. The air of Inverness was sweet and wholesome. Macbeth's castle was situated on a hill. Duncan was impressed by Lady Macbeth's hospitality. Lady Macbeth could hide her treacherous purpose with smiles and charming etiquette. King Duncan, tired by his journey, went early to bed. The old king went to sleep along with two grooms who came with him. Lady Macbeth decided to murder the king herself because Macbeth was too full of the milk of human kindness to murder the king. Why did Lady Macbeth wake up in the middle of the night to plot the murder of the king? Lady Macbeth approached Duncan's chamber with an dagger. Lady Macbeth could not kill Duncan because Duncan resembled her father. Why was Macbeth reluctant to kill King Duncan? Macbeth was a subject to the king. Macbeth was a close relative to Duncan. Macbeth was a host to the king. All of these. এটা হবে all of these. Lady Macbeth continuously insisted Macbeth to kill Duncan. Duncan was a king who was merciful. Seeing Macbeth's inner conflict to kill Duncan, Lady Macbeth accused him of cowardice and fickleness. What reason did Lady Macbeth give to her husband for killing Duncan? Macbeth made a resolution to do so. The grooms slept outside the king's chamber as they were drunk. As Macbeth approached to kill Duncan, he saw in the air a blood-stained dagger. How did Macbeth see the dagger in his hallucination at Duncan's chamber? The dagger was hanging in the air. The handle of the dagger was pointed towards Macbeth. There was blood on the tip and the blade of the dagger. All of these. এটা হবে all of these. পরেরটা. The dagger which Macbeth saw in the air was unreal. তারপরে Macbeth saw another dagger in the air. It reveals Macbeth's mental conflict. After the murder of King Duncan, the grooms of the king said, God bless us, Amen, murder, all of these. এটা হবে all of these. Macbeth killed the hapless king with a dagger. Macbeth could not pronounce the word Amen. Macbeth felt as if he heard a voice saying, Macbeth shall sleep no more. Who stained the cheeks of the grooms with blood? Lady Macbeth. Macbeth killed Duncan because he wanted to be the king. After the murder of king, when Macbeth returned to his wife in a distracted state, she reproached him for his want of resoluteness and sent him to wash the blood from his hands. Duncan's murder was discovered in or on the next morning. What did Macbeth and Lady Macbeth do in the morning following the murder of the Duncan? They showed their utmost grief. The suspicion of murder fell upon Macbeth. The elder son of Duncan was Malcolm. Malcolm, after his father's death, sought refuge in the English court. Donalbain fled to Ireland. After the death of Duncan, in the absence of his two sons, Macbeth was crowned the King of Scotland. Banquo was honest but ambitious. The name of Banquo's son is Fleance. What is the main reason for which Macbeth kills Banquo? The witch's prediction that Banquo's successors will be kings. Who decided to murder Banquo and Fleance? Macbeth. Macbeth arranged a banquet to solemnize the kingship. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth arranged a banquet in which they invited all the chieftains along with Banquo and Fleance. To kill Banquo and his son, Macbeth appointed hired assassins. Banquo was murdered on the way to the castle of Macbeth. The hired assassins could murder only Banquo. At the supper, Macbeth regretted the absence of Banquo. Banquo's ghost occupied the seat reserved for Banquo. The ghost of Banquo was visible to only Macbeth. In the banquet hall, Macbeth was actually looking at an empty chair. What happened to Macbeth when he saw Banquo's ghost occupying the seat reserved for him in the banquet? He remained silent. He stood quite unmannered and unnerved. His cheeks turned white in fear. Both B and C. It have both B and C. How did Lady Macbeth react when Macbeth behaved strangely in the banquet? Lady Macbeth reproached her husband and told him that what he saw was his fancy. Lady Macbeth dismissed the guests, fearing that the terrible secret would be out. Lady Macbeth called for a doctor. Both A and B. Both A and B. What happened to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth after the banquet? Their sleep got affected with terrible dreams. Both of them went mad. The escape of Fleance troubled them. Both A and C. Both A and C. Macbeth decided to visit the heath once more in search of the assassins. Donalbain, the three witches, none. The three witches. For the second time, Macbeth went to witches to seek advice for them in order to secure his throne. Macbeth found the witches in a cave. How many spirits were called by the witches? 3. The first spirit who came to answer Macbeth looked like an arm head. Beware of the Thane of Five. This was remarked by the first spirit. Macduff was the Thane of Five. The second spirit looked to Macbeth as a bloody child. After listening to the second spirit, Macbeth decided to kill Macduff. The second spirit told Macbeth that no man naturally born of a woman's womb would be able to kill him. The third spirit looked at Macbeth as a crowned child, who told Macbeth that he could never be vanquished until the Birnam would move to Dunsinane Hill. The third spirit. When the cauldron sank into the ground, the number of shadows like kings that passed by Macbeth was 8. What happened when Macbeth asked if Banquo's issue shall ever reign in his kingdom? In this kingdom, eight shadows like kings passed by Macbeth, and Banquo was the last figure. Who was the last figure in the shadows of kings? Banquo. Who held a glass in his hand? Banquo. Macbeth understood that the shadowy figures in the glass were Banquo's successors. After coming out of the witch's cave, Macbeth got the news that Macduff had fled to England. Sitting up in the castle of Macduff, Macbeth slaughtered Macduff's wife and his children. After the murder of Macduff's wife and children, everybody started respecting Macbeth, hating Macbeth, suspecting Macbeth, both B and C. এটা হবে both B and C. In England, an army was formed against Macbeth under the leadership of Malcolm. Why did Macduff go to England and join Malcolm? To fight the tyrant Macbeth with Malcolm. The name of the disease from which Lady Macbeth suffered is somnambulism. Lady Macbeth died because she was unable to bear the remorse of guilt any longer. After Lady Macbeth's death, Macbeth grew careless and longed for death. The new approach of Malcolm's army roused in Macbeth his ancient courage. Macbeth started to think that nobody can kill him because he was told no one naturally born of a woman's womb can kill him. The hollow promises of the witches filled Macbeth with a kind of false confidence. When the wood of Birnam seemed to move, Macbeth instructed his soldiers to take the arms and move out. Where did Macbeth shut himself up? In his own castle. The name of the forest mentioned in the Macbeth is Birnam. The moving of the Birnam wood was first noticed by a messenger. Macbeth regarded the messengers as a liar because Macbeth could not believe him. The prophecy made by the witches had equivocal meaning. How did Birnam wood come to Dunsinane? Malcolm's army hid behind the cut-off tree branches. When Macbeth found out that the prophecy of the witches was misunderstood by him, he lost his confidence. Macduff was not born naturally of a woman, rather he was untimely taken out from his mother's womb. After knowing that Macduff was not born naturally of a woman's womb, Macbeth lost his strength and resoluteness. Macbeth said that the witches and spirits deceive man in words that have double meanings. When a skirmish took place, Macbeth was slaughtering everyone who challenged him. Losing all his confidence, Macbeth finally refused to fight against Macduff. Macduff told Macbeth that he would display Macbeth as monsters are displayed. When Macduff reproached Macbeth for slaughtering his wife and children, Macbeth ran away from the battlefield. Macbeth was killed by Donalbain, the first spirits that appeared like an armed head. Suggestion signified that Macbeth would kill Macduff. I'm extremely sorry, এখানে ভুল হয়ে গেছে, এ হবে না, বি, এটা হবে সি, আর এটা হবে এ। 31 এরটা বি, 32 এরটা সি এবং 33 এরটা হবে এ। The second spirits that looked like a bloody child. Suggestion symbolized that Macduff was not born naturally of a woman, rather was untimely taken out from his mother's womb. The third spirits, looking like a crowned child with a tree in his head, suggestion symbolized that Malcolm's army would Malcolm's army would come towards Dunsinane Hill holding branches of the trees. 36 the new lawful king was Malcolm. Macbeth presented to the young and lawful new king Malcolm the head of Macbeth. Macbeth came across a tragic end for his extreme jealousy. সময় বের করে তোমাদের জন্য ভিডিওটি করেছি, অবশ্যই তোমরা দেখবে এবং উপকৃত হবে। টেক্সট পড়ে নেওয়ার পরে কোশ্চেন ব্যাংক প্র্যাকটিস করা অবশ্যই দরকার। তাছাড়া তোমরা জানো যে ফার্স্ট সেমিস্টার এমসিকিউ হবে, ওই জন্য সব থেকে বেশি প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে। বিভিন্ন বই থেকে যতগুলি এমসিকিউ আছে সেগুলি প্র্যাকটিস করতে হবে। বেশি সময় একদমই নেই, ভালো করে পড়াশোনা করো যাতে তোমাদের রেজাল্টটা ভালো হয়। সময়ের মূল্য দাও, ভবিষ্যতে দেখবে তোমাকেও সময় মূল্য দেবে।